Hello guys, I welcome you back into today's class where we're going to step into the world of a digital deception, which is what I call ARP spoofing. So if you have ever wondered how hackers silently position themselves between devices on the network, hijacking traffic without being noticed, you are about to learn the techniques behind their power. So in this session, we are not just only talking about the theory, we're going to be diving into the practical, which is the hands-on, and you're going to learn how ALP spoofing work, why it's dangerous, and how ethical hacker use tools like BetaCap to test and secure the network. So whether you are a cybersecurity student or an ethical hacker in training, or just curious about network attack, get ready because by the end of this class, you will understand and perform a real-world ALP spoofing attack in a lab environment. So with no more further delay, let's get started. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use your skills ethically, legally, and professionally. Alright, so let's dive in. The first thing we're going to be talking about right now here is a spoofing. We're going to understand what a spoofing is. So I have a theory of this spoofing here. Here says spoofing happens when someone impersonates a trusted contact or brand pretending to be someone you trust in order to access sensitive personal information. So spoofing here is when someone tries to be impersonating someone else. For example, a bad guy can try to impersonate a big organization. They can impersonate a well-known website, and anytime a victim browses to the website, they are not going to know that the website is not a legit website. They would think that they are on a real website, where means everything they are putting on the website, the bad guy is going to be taking all those information. That's what a spoofing is. Spoofing is when someone impersonates a trusted contact or brand, pretending to be someone you trust in order to access sensitive personal information. So here is an example of this spoofing when a scammer copies a well-known website and a victim browses to the website and scammer steal the victim information without the victim knowledge. Okay, so when you're talking about this spoofing, we have different type of this spoofing. We have email spoofing, website spoofing, IP spoofing, and ARP spoofing. So all these guys here are the different types of spoofings that we have. Email spoofing is when a bad guy tries to make emails to look legit at his trusted vendors. For example, a bad guy can send a mail through your bank and the mail is going to be looking legit the same way your bank mail is. So that's going to trick a user into providing their sensitive information. And we have a website spoofing when a bad guy tries to be redirecting you to a fake website, and any information you are putting on the fake website is going to be harvested by the bad guy. And we have IP spoofing when a bad guy tries to hijack your IP address. They are going to be going to be using all the information of your system, both the IP, and they're going to be looks like you are the person. And we have ARP spoofing. They tries to be hijacking your MAC address in other ways to clone your identity on your system. So these types here are the different type of spoofing that we have. So here I have the example of this spoofing attack. So the first thing I have here is an example of a email spoofing attack. If you see how this email is, this mail here looks legit like original mail. This mail coming from a company name Real Company XYZ. That's the name of the company. And you're going to see the message that the bad guy is saying. Here says, "Dear customer, we regret to inform you that we have detected some unusual activities on your account. As a security measure, please confirm your account details with us. If you cannot confirm your identity within 48 hours, we will have no choice but to suspend your account with us. Click here to confirm your account details." The objective here is that any victim that click on the link here is going to take them to the next page where they're going to be asking them for their sensitive information. And anytime that they put their information on the website through the mail, that's a problem. The bad guy will be able to hijack all those information. So when we're talking about this spoofing, we have different tools that we use to carry out a spoofing attack. First one here is the beta cap. Second here is the Z-Proxy. We have SSL strip, we have bot suite, and we have an MITM proxy, which is what we call man in the middle attack proxy. Man in the middle proxy. So all those things here is the tool that we can use to carry out these tools. So with no more delay, I'm going to be moving into the practical aspect of this particular attack. Like what I explained to you, this video is only meant for educational purpose. Shouldn't use this on someone else or on someone network that you don't have the rights to do it. All right, so here I'm going to open the lab I'm using. So here is my lab, and I have my attacker machine here, which is a Kali. So we're going to be logging into our Kali machine. So this guy here is going to be acting as an attacker machine, and here I have my Windows 10, which is going to act as a victim machine. So I'm using these on my own lab. So if you want to practical your own as well, make sure that you are using it on your own lab. All right, so I have some couples of commands we're going to be using here. So the first thing here is to use this command betacap iface eta0 to launch betacap. So you go to your Kali. Once you Kali, open your terminal. You're going to see your terminal beside your browser. That black icon is the terminal. So before that, make sure that you go to your root by using sudo-i. So enter your root. So once you're in root, you're going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight this thing so that it's going to come big, so that we'll be able to see whatever I'm putting. All right, so I'm going to paste the command. So I come back to where this command is. I copy. Once I copy the command, I'm going to paste the command here, or I type the command betacap iface ETH0 and I hit enter key. As you can see here, it's telling me that the command not found, which means that I haven't installed the betacap. So I need to install betacap. So before I install betacap, I use apt update to update my Kali. So first thing I need to update my Kali. So let's hold on for the Kalis to be updated. After that, I'm going to be using this command. So let's hold on for the Kalis to updated. So anytime you are installing a new tools, you need to update your Kali first before you install the tools. So let's hold on for the Kalis to finish the updating. So hold on for the Kalis to finish the updating. Alright, so once the update is finished, you need to install the betacap by using apt install betacap space -y, hit enter key. So this command here is going to be installing the betacap, apt install betacap space and -y and hit enter key. So we hold on for the betacap to install. Alright, so once the betacap is installed, that is now we're going to type this command betacap iface. Iface stands from interface. In which interface are we using betacap? ETH0. So where do we come about ETH0? If you type ifconfig, you're going to see the interface I'm using here is a ETH0, which is the interface that contains my IP address. Alright, so that's the reason why I'm using that particular interface. So first thing, goes to your root, sudo space I, use Kali to enter your root, Ctrl to clear. So when I'm in root, I'm going to type betacap space iFace ETH0, you hit enter key. So as you can see, I'm able to launch the beta cap. So once you launch the beta cap, the next thing here is a net.probe on. For you to be able to probe the network, you need to use net.probe on. So net.probe on and hit enter key. Function of net.probe is to disclose all the available system connected to your network. So when you use net.probe, you're going to use net.show to show all the system that is connecting to your network. You can see here 172.10.6 here is my Kali, here is the gateway, here is my Windows 10 which is the virtual one, and here is my physical system. Alright, so we're going to disclose all the information. The next thing here is a net.sniff to turn on sniffing. So we're going to use net.sniff on to turn on sniffing, so we're able to be monitoring and capturing any information. So after that, we're going to set arp.spoof.full-duplex true. So we're going to set arp.spoof.full-duplex true. All right, so we set arp.spoof.full-duplex true. There's a little error with the command arp.spoof.full-duplex true. All right, okay, so here is it, arp.spoof.full-duplex, duplex here is a x, full-duplex true. So after that, we use it, we're going to set the target, set arp.spoof.target, and you put the IP address of your Windows 10. So set arp.spoof.target, and we're going to put the IP address of my Windows 10, which is a 172.20.10.2. So let me check. You need to check whatever your Windows 10 IP is. So if I open my virtual Windows 10, which is the victim, and I browse to cmd, so if I type ifconfig, ipconfig, I mean, you can see 10.2 is the IP. All right, so I need to go back to my Kali, and I hit enter key. So after that, next thing here is to turn on spoofing by using arp.spoof on. arp.spoof on to turn on spoofing. Alright, so once we turn on spoofing, what's the next thing we're going to do? The next thing here is to perform what we call man-in-the-middle attack by using this command arp-spoof-i eth0.c. Here, what does that mean? I'm going to change this thing here before I explain to you. But when you want to use that command, you need to create another terminal. So you need to create another terminal. Alright, you need to create another terminal like triple time. So you're going to create like 3 different terminal. Alright. Okay, so I created 3 different terminal, and I'm going to make sure that each of the terminal is in root. Make sure that you take them to your root. So come to the second terminal, sudo space -i to take it to root. Come to the third terminal, sudo space -i to take it to root. So once you are in root, so I'm going to do this, I'm going to explain this command one by one. But before I explain, let me put the command outside. arp-spoof space -i eth0, arp-spoof space -i eth0 space -t, which is the target. Target here is a 172.20.10.2 space 172.20.10.1. Alright, so what does this command here is that we are telling Windows 10 here, we are telling lines to Windows 10 that any traffic that met for your default gateway, don't send this to your default gateway again. be sending it to us, which is the bad guy, the attacker. So we hit enter key. This guy here going to be keeping lines to the Windows 10. So we need to do for the default gateway as well. Come here, type ARP spoof space -I ETH0 space -T, which is the target, ETH0 space -T, which is for the target. We're going to put 172.20.10.1 space 172.20.10.2. So the second one here, we are telling the default gateway that any traffic that met for Windows 10, don't send this to Windows 10 again, be sending this to us, the bad guy. It means that we are keeping lines for the two guys. With this command, we will be able to make what we call man in the middle attack between the Windows 10 and the default gateway. Okay, so we hit enter key. So the command we just used now here is this. The first one here, we are telling the Windows 10 that any traffic that met for default gateway, it should be sending it to us, the bad guy. And here we are telling the default gateway that any traffic that met for Windows 10, it should be sending it to us, the bad guy. So after that is to allow IP forward on it, because anytime the Windows 10 wants to browse to the internet, it is not going to directly connected to default router again. It will now be connecting to us, the bad guy. So for the Windows 10 to be able to reach the internet, we need to enable IP forward. So we're going to use this command here to enable IP forward. And what's the command here? Echo 1. So we're going to type it. Echo. So type it here. Alright. Echo 1 proxy net IPv4 IP forward. So we hit enter key. So after that, we are able to do it. We need to host a web server on our Kali, because what we are doing now, we want to any time that victim here is browsing to a website, we want to be able to redirect it to another website. It means that we need to host a web server on our Kali by using this command: service Apache 2 starts. So service Apache 2 start to turn on a web server on the Kali. Service Apache 2 start to turn on Apache on the Kali. Alright, so let's go to the next command. The next command here says set DNS spoof all true to turn on DNS spoofing. So we need to go back to the first. You can drag these guys down. We need to go back to the first terminal that we are running before. The terminal that we are running BetaCat before. So we're going to paste it here. Paste it and hit enter key. So if I come to the next one, yes, here now says set DNS spoof domain for this website. So the website we are targeting here now is a Z security, which means that any time the victim is browsing to Z security, we want to be redirected the victim to our Kali machine. Okay, so we're going to paste it and we hit enter key. So after that, we're going to turn on the spoofing. So we're going to turn on the spoofing and you paste it here and we hit enter key. So once we turn on the spoofing, let's now go into my Kali. So if I come to my Kali here, you're going to see the web server I hosted on my Kali. So I'm going to open the browser on my Kali. So let the browser come up. So hold on for the browser to come up. I don't know why this guy is slow. Okay, so once this browser is come up, if I put the IP address of my Kali here, 172.20.10.6, and we hit enter key, we're going to see the web browser, the website are hosted on my Kali. We're going to see how the website looks like. So let's the website come up. Okay, Okay, let me close this guy. He has already opened multiple times. So if I type 172.20.10.6 and I hit enter key, you're going to see this is the Apache that we are running on the Kali. So what we are now doing here is that anytime the Windows 10 browse to Security on its own system, they will be redirected to the Kali and you're going to be seeing this Apache on his own browser. So let's go ahead and check. If I open the Windows 10 and I open browser on the Windows 10, so I'm going to open the web browser on the Windows 10. So once the web browser is up, I'm going to type this command, this website here, cybersecurity.org. So that's the website and I hit enter key. Once I hit enter key, boom, as you can see what is showing me, our DNS spoofing is working. It means that anytime this victim is going to the browser, it will be redirected to our Kali. For example, if I open the real website on my physical system, cybersecurity.org, this is how the real website is. Alright, so hold on, you're going to see how the real website of this guy here is, and you're going to see this is how the real website is. So let the website load finish. Alright, this is how the real website is. As you can see this website here, this is how the real website of that Security is. But if I goes to the victim, anytime the victim is browsing to that Security, it will be redirected to our Kali, which is the web server we hosted on our Kali. So that's how a DNS spoofing is be carried out. That's how a DNS spoofing is be carried out. So how can you prevent yourself from this such attack? The first thing here is a verification. So you need to verify everything you are doing on the network. The first thing is to verify. Even if anyone is sending you, maybe you goes to a website, or you just see a mail, don't go ahead and clicking on it. Don't do anything on it, because once you click on it, that guy can actually be impersonating someone else and it can actually be disclosing all your information outside. So here now is just for educational purpose. That's why it is like this. If a bad guy wants to use this attack, it means that they would have already hosted the Security on their Kali. They've already cloned the Security on their Kali. Anytime the victim is redirected to the Kali, it will still be seeing the Security website. But the reason why we just stick to this one is just for educational purpose. Okay, so it means that a bad guy would have already cloned the Security on their website, and anytime victim redirected to their Kali, they will still be seeing the Security. But any information they are putting there, the bad guy will be seeing all the information on their Kali. Okay. So here now, this is how this Security, this is how the ARP spoofing is be carried out. This is how the ARP spoofing is. Alright, so how can you prevent yourself from this type of an attack? The first thing, as I explained to you, verification is the first thing. You must verify anything you are doing on the network. And secondly, anytime you are browsing to a website, make sure that you are using an encrypted connection, like you using your HTTPS, SSH and VPN, so that even if someone is intercepting your traffic, they can't read everything that they are intercepting. And this VPN we're talking about is still going to be adding a strong encrypted tunnel to wherever that you are doing on the network. All right, and the third one says you should avoid a public Wi-Fi. Make sure you avoid a public Wi-Fi. Don't use a public Wi-Fi. Maybe you are a type that you like to be connecting to a public Wi-Fi. Don't do that, because when you are doing that, it's going to be easier for a bad guy to sniff and spoof on you. Okay, Alright, so this is the end of the class. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share, turn on the notification button, and bye for now.